Nice to be joined online by Joe Pantoliano to talk about the upcoming premiere of Bad Boys for Life. And I suppose, Joe, if I start off asking you, Bad Boys in 1995, Bad Boys 2 in 2003, did you ever think after 17 years that you'd be coming back for the trilogy, another Bad Boys movie?
Well, not really, except, lately, over the last, they talked to me over the last 10 years about the possibility of it being done, and then we were close to getting it done about 4 years ago, and then, but, everybody, this whole branding thing, everybody's doing this remakes of everything, and, luckily, I'm still alive, and and I got to, and they were nice enough to keep me in it.
Yeah, and I suppose, Joe, you're one of the three originals in relation to Martin Lawrence and Will Smith that have been there for the beginning. And I suppose you've seen a time evolve in relation to the Bad Boys, in relation to the characters also progressing with time. And the trilogy has also sort of come full circle in a sense now that it's two guys towards the end of their careers rather than two ambitious sort of rookies starting out.
Yeah, it's like life imitating art too. So, can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Joe. Yeah.
And I think that the writers did a great job incorporating the evolution of these guys that used to be boys and are no longer. I think audiences, huge fans of the first two, are going to be really satisfied, and I think it's going to open up to a whole new fan base.
Yeah, and I suppose, Joe, one thing that struck me intriguingly about Bad Boys for Life is that mainly in the past Bad Boys movies has been mainly centred on, particularly in relation to Will Smith, Martin Lawrence's character, all the action scenes. But you've tried to bring in a new element into this now with these events, Miami Metro operations, and bringing that the likes of Mike Lowry and Marcus Bonnet, they have to sort of work in this sort of team element now. A different sort of intrigue and a sort of different outlook rather than these two rogue guys all out with guns blazing, action setting. Now they're apart, they have to sort of combine with the sort of the police module as well.
Oh yeah, the idea how their way of doing things has passed them by.
Yeah.
It's all high surveillance and interconnected, and this is they go by the old, Mike Lowry goes by the old shoot first and ask questions later. It also kind of like catching up to how much the world has changed. When I did Bad Boys, we didn't even have cell phones.
Yeah, and I suppose, Joe, your own character, Captain Howard, has always been sort of the head teacher, the primary sort of principal role, where you're sort of these sort of troublesome sort of like classmates that are always probably on the sort of detention, the sort of bad boys, but they have the good heart in them, and still that same way you love them, but you hate them, but you know that when the chips are down, they'll always deliver.
That's right. And, when the chips are down, they'll break I know they'll break the rules, but they'll always deliver. But I always saw it as that Mike Lowry will break the rules, and Marcus was always the moral compass of that team.
Yeah.
And at least I had Marcus trying to do the right thing, because he's a family man, and he has something to lose. A wife and children. He doesn't want to show up as a dead cop. And so that was always part of it. But I always kiddingly describe my character as the guy that get into my office, get out of my office character.
Yeah, and I suppose, Joe, in relation to the production of Bad Boys for Life, you were there for the first one in 1995, in relation to 2020 now, in relation to when you were casting and shooting for this movie, in relation to the visual effects, in relation to the high chase stunt scenes, in relation to the whole mass production that is around Bad Boys. I suppose it almost feels like eras, worlds apart, I imagine.
Worlds apart. Technology is so much faster now. The equipment is faster. Lighting is faster, and they've invented motorcycles that are electric and soundproof, so you can put a camera on this movie. The directors did everything with 3 cameras, so I never knew where I was on. I had to be on my toes the whole time. It was like, in a lot of ways, it was as if I'd never been on a major motion picture before. Don't forget, when we did the first Bad Boys, it was a low-budget movie.
Yeah.
As far as a studio picture, I think it cost them $19 million to make that movie.
Yeah, and I suppose, Joe, for every sort of good cop sort of action sequence, edge of the seat job, it needs that villain, that anti demoralizing character that people say could grow to, or people sort of fear or reprise or something like that. And the role of Jacob Scipio, who plays Armando Amas, and Kate Della Casa Isabella, a sort of new sort of take, but an intriguing one, and one that works very, very well, I feel. And Jacob really gets that Armando, that vicious sort of Miami sort of drug cartel. It's not PG as such, but he does a good job to make you feel that he's a guy that needs to be taken out, basically.
Yeah, he's also a wonderful actor and a wonderful find. I was extremely impressed by his talent, his gift.
Yeah, and
I've seen a lot of that kid.
Yeah, and I suppose in relation to Bad Boys and working with Will Smith and working with Martin Lawrence, you have a friendship there, I presume, for many years. I suppose it must have been a joy to meet up with these guys on set in relation to the takes, and just really have that personality, that sort of laugh, that bonding, that guy time that you probably had together, and just reminisce on good times and good Bad Boys. I'm sure there's an awful lot of fun stories or fun memories that you have in relation to shooting this Bad Boys movie.
What I remember the most is that when we did that movie, don't forget they were kids. They were just starting out. And I had about 10 years on them.
Yeah.
And now going back, we're all family. Our kids are all grown up. My kids came. Their children were there. The director's parents were there. It was really family oriented, and it was just wonderful to see how all of us have, survived Hollywood and have learned the real lovely luxury of being lucky enough for me to be lucky enough to have had a career that spanned 40 years, and to see people that I knew as young men become phenoms and titans in the industry, and but also incredibly generous. I mean, Will's one of my employers on this. He and Jerry, their companies produced this movie, so Will was my boss.
And I suppose, lastly, Joe, for you looking ahead now into 2020 and beyond, I suppose you'll have a few other sort of projects in the pipeline. I know there's the movie Spring Break 83 that's out due soon, so you're kept busy, I'm sure, in an awful lot of projects that we're going to see over in our TV screens and films here in Ireland in the coming year.
Yeah, I did a film in Italy called From the Vine that's coming out, in a Korean film called Hide and Seek, and next week I start previews of an off-Broadway play in New York about an Irish matriarch in an Italian working class construction family. So you know, I'm very excited that I can still put on my makeup and go to work.
And finally, Joe, for the last 20 seconds now of this interview, maybe you can enlighten and tell all our audience here in Ireland why they should go out en masse on January the 17th, get to the cinemas, watch Bad Boys for Life. In relation to over to Captain Howard, what's in store for them? Take it away.
Well, they're big surprises. You know, I hear I'm wonderful in it, and it's like it's just an amazing experience to be able to see Martin and Will together again, and Martin has got some really brilliantly wonderful scenes, and you know, those two guys are magic. It's absolute magic to see them. I got to see them in person, and now you can all see them up there on the big screen.
Joe Pantoliano, an absolute pleasure talking to you on the airwaves this evening. We wish you and Bad Boys for Life all the success, and we wish you personally all the success in the coming year, and hopefully, please God, Joe Pantoliano, you'll visit our shores here in Ireland in the near future.
Thank you for your interest in having me on.
Cheers. Thanks, Joe.